Hi, my name is Nathan Peterson, OCD and anxiety specialist. I asked you to send some questions my way, and you did. Hundreds of them. I'm gonna go through some of them today and answer them. So let's get to it. I was convinced a little bit ago that I had Alzheimer's. How do I say that? Alzheimer's. That one's always been tough for me. Classic OCD. And yet I keep doubting I have it every single day. This is tough because oftentimes we might say, I wonder if I have this disease or this problem. Probably gonna go get that checked out by a doctor. And if somebody does and the doctor says, you're good, you're fine, yet somebody still worries about it, then we know there could be some health anxiety that's happening, maybe some OCD fears, but we're gonna treat either one of those the same. And how we're gonna do that is through exposure and response prevention, where our job is to say, you know what, I just have to risk it. Risk that I might actually have this thing, especially because I keep forgetting and doubting every day that maybe I have it. We're gonna use that to our advantage to be like, cool, maybe I do, maybe I don't. What a interesting experience that would be if I had it. We're not trying to make light of the disease itself, but of OCD or health anxiety that is just throwing out these false signals. Unless there are glaring red flags, you don't even have to question it that there's a problem. We're not doing anything with something like this. We're just saying, my job is to not be a doctor, unless you are a doctor. It's to not be an investigator, unless you are an investigator. I don't need to figure this out. What's my job? Oh, my job's to go to school, to be a dad, to be a mom, to be whatever you want to be. That's my job. So if I have this doubt, I might have the same response every time. Yeah, man, cool thought today, bro. Love that. Awesome. Yeah, maybe I have it. Maybe I don't. And there's always that thought in the back of someone's mind, but what if I actually have something and I missed it because I'm trying to just not pay attention to it? That seems like it's always the risk, but we're all taking that risk. We're all willing to live life. Sometimes we lean closer to something like this where we say, let's do exposures where we're watching videos of people who have this and we're saying, yep, maybe that'll be me, maybe not. Maybe we're drawing pictures, maybe we're writing certain words, maybe we're purposely going to do things that make us feel like we have that disease so we can take that power away from it. Would you be open to talking about the presence of AI and its potential to be used for compulsions? On the other hand, there could be some substantial therapeutic benefits too. Have any of your clients shared stories about using AI in the context of treating their OCD? AI is interesting because it can get a lot of things right and it can get a lot of things wrong. Compulsions definitely can be a big piece of it because it really kind of doesn't know any better. I mean, if I had a specific fear, I'd be talking to it. I would be chatting with it. And it's almost always on your side, even if you're wrong. That's something that I've noticed. Whether I'm helping it come up with some ideas for me or I say, I think I want to add a period here. Oh, I think I want to do this. Whatever. It's like, you're absolutely right. A period would look really good there. And it's like, it was actually fine before, but you're definitely a yes man or woman or whatever. Yes, computer. You're going to tell me whatever I want to hear. Those compulsions are very short term because how does it know? Ultimately, it's like, hey, it told me I'm fine. It's great. This is a symptom of OCD, but I'm still doubting it. So we try not to use it for that, but I've used it for exposures for people, especially script writing. This can be a very good benefit. Let me throw in a prompt of write me a story about walking to a grocery store, accidentally bumping into somebody while I'm there, them making a huge scene about it, the police coming, they're saying, why did you assault this person? Whatever. Have it create this story and me end up in jail and I lose my family and whatever the specific fear is, that's what we're doing. And it writes this elaborate story. The difficult part is, like I said, it wants to provide some reassurance. Usually at the end of it, it's like, and the person realized that they're a good person, they would never actually do that. And it was a symptom of OCD and they woke up from their dream or whatever it is. So I kind of just cut that last part out. But we read those stories over and over and over and over and say, yeah, that might happen. Maybe, we'll see. I don't know. What a cool experience. Interesting. So AI can be great in that context. But if you catch yourself using it for compulsions, we don't want to do that. Is there a way to tell the difference between reassurance seeking and problem solving with another person? Yes. Problem solving is not urgent most of the time. It's not mixed with distress or anxiety. Let's just talk through this. How does this work? How do I get this to work? What do you think about this? Oh, I had this interesting thought. What do you think? But I also need to be okay if I never talked about that. Would that be okay too? That's a good indication of just problem solving. I don't have to, I'm choosing to. Reassurance seeking, I need an answer right now. It's urgent, I feel distress or anxiety, and I'm really just kind of looking for some comfort. I want them to give me a specific answer. If you're asking the same thing time after time after time after time, probably reassurance seeking. Because usually with problem solving, we talk about it, we come up with an answer the best that we can, and we kind of move on. Reassurance seeking, you get an answer, and it's like, but maybe I didn't give enough details, let's ask again. Often, if someone's even questioning, is this reassurance seeking I'm doing right now? Probably is. We don't know for sure, but I've already asked this multiple times. Reassurance seeking. Problem solving, how do I build this in Minecraft? This is like, my son's building like this redstone, Fibonacci, whatever binary number thingy. I don't know what you're talking about, bro, but really cool. Awesome. That's problem solving. We're figuring that stuff out. Hi, Nathan. Thank you for your great video. What advice can you give to people about trying to maintain eye contact during conversation? Difficult. I used to struggle a lot with social anxiety. Eye contact has always been actually kind of a difficult thing. I feel like I can talk better when I'm not looking in somebody's eyes. It just becomes a habit over time. So you have to really make it a point to say, I'm planning this out. I'm gonna go make eye contact with multiple people. Going to the grocery store, every person I happen to talk to. I'm gonna make sure I look at their eyes at least 5 seconds. Whatever your goal is. Maybe it's 10 seconds. I'm gonna look at it. I'm gonna pay attention to what my thoughts are saying. If it's saying, I'm making them uncomfortable. What if I look at something inappropriate on their body? What if blah, 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 blah? We're just saying, I don't know. Maybe it will happen. Maybe not. Can I make it a goal at least 5 people today that I'm making eye contact? I can look away, then I gotta look back. I can look away. It's almost like a game. It's gonna feel uncomfortable. It's not supposed to feel comfortable. You don't know what the other person's thinking, but actually it's just practice. Let me be uncertain about all the fears, everything that's coming to my mind, and just keep practicing it. Can even be with your dog. It can be with a cat. Cats make eye contact. I think they do. It could be with a parent, sibling, just like a hierarchy. You could start off small. I've had people even do it with images. Static image, video. You're just practicing. Even though that's maybe not as hard, doesn't matter. It's just the idea of practicing. Thank you so much for these. Any thoughts about how to help with OCD focusing on current world events? I've heard about real event OCD, but only referencing memories of the past. Any idea how to stop thinking about the things that are actually happening? Wowzers, you got me stumped. No. My first thought is we don't need to stop thinking about it. We can just let thoughts be. We can prefer to not have certain material come across us. Meaning, I don't watch the news. I don't read newspapers. I rarely run into a news report. And if I do, usually they're negative things about the world, about what's happening, about the bad thing that happened here, and the bad thing, current events. We're gonna run into them. We don't have to problem solve them all, or most of them, or really any of them, unless that's your job, unless that's what you want to do. But we can hear a story, we can have something and say, bummer, this kind of sucks. This stuff's happening in the world. Let me sit with this uncomfortable feeling. I don't need to push the thoughts away. I don't need to problem solve it. I don't need to do anything with it. Let's just let it be. Sometimes people will set a timer, say 5 minutes. Let me just sit with this feeling. Just let it be. Feel sad for these people or whatever's happening. Because if we say, I don't want to keep focusing on these things, we're probably going to focus on them more. But we focus on what we do have control over, which is, if news is not my thing, that's not my thing. So how do I make that more inconvenient for me to run into? And it's not for avoidance, it's to say, that's just not part of my value system. Not something that makes me happy. It's okay to set boundaries with ourselves. But when things do pop up, for us to be able to handle it and say, hey man, you're here. Let's just be here. It's tough. I love that we can talk through all of these things. Thank you so much for submitting these questions. I know exposure therapy is difficult. If you haven't checked out my course, go check that out. Master Your OCD teaches you how to do it. And I would love to hear more questions from you. Go write them down in the comments and see if your question gets answered next time. Want to see another one? There's a video here. Go check it out. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.